Hello, welcome back to Magic in the Muck, a soul's compass for change. I'm so glad that you're here. In today's episode, I want to share something that's close to the bone, a personal story that I've lived into deeply these past few years. Not because I've got it all figured out, but because it really cracked me open. It opened me up and woke me up, showing me a new way to live. This is the story of how I stopped pushing through and started listening. How I moved from asking what's wrong with me to what's trying to emerge through me. A few years ago, just before my 50th birthday, I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. This was not the birthday gift that I had imagined at all. So while the diagnosis felt like a real not even a slap in the face, like a thunderclap, it also became an unexpected teacher. At the time, leading up to the diagnosis, I was moving fast. With meaning and purpose, yes, but also with a lot of pressure. I was facilitating workshops, had a full-on private practice supporting others in therapy through deep transformation, holding space for others, while also holding a lot at the home end as well. This was during the middle of the pandemic, and my teenagers were really struggling with mental health challenges and behavior challenges, and there were strains in my marriage as well. But I kept it all together on the outside, and things looked steady if you were on the outside looking in. But something inside of me felt a bit off. I'd gotten really good at pushing through. If I felt fatigue, I just kept going. If I felt numbness, I just ignored it. Probably nothing. That inner whisper to slow down, anytime I felt that need to slow down, I would push it aside and say, maybe later. But my body, oh my goodness, my body, so wise and so faithful, was trying to get my attention. I was ignoring it, but it kept trying. Until it started to yell. I began falling upstairs, not downstairs, but upstairs. I would trip over the tiniest little things like tree roots or the crack in the pavement. I would lose my balance, fall off my mountain bike at just a simple turn around a corner. So many little, and not so little, symptoms. There was that bone-deep fatigue that no amount of sleep could fix. So when the diagnosis came, it was like the world went silent. I admit I was in shock when the neurologist told me that I had MS. He was looking back and forth between the scans of the MRI, which showed multiple lesions in my brain, which I was in disbelief about, but there they were right there on the screen. He would look at the screen, and then he would look at me. He'd look at the screen, and then he'd look at me, and he was just shaking his head, and I asked him, what was that about? And he said, if I wasn't sitting right there in front of him, and he was only looking at the scan on the screen, he would believe that he was looking at the scan of someone who was completely immobile in a wheelchair, unable to function. On the one hand, a part of me felt really proud that I surprised him. And on the other hand, there was a fear. And there was grief. Yeah, there was grief. Grief for the version of me that I might have to let go of. And then there was also a sense of clarity. It was as if life was holding up a mirror to me saying, Jennifer, it's time. Time to listen and time to live more in alignment. So MS really didn't just slow me down. It really became my teacher and invited me to go inward, to learn inward, to lean inward, and to listen inward. It taught me that healing really isn't about fixing. It's about facing. I was going to face this diagnosis, and I was going to find out what it had to teach me. It's about honoring what is and listening for what's trying to come through. So this really wasn't a surrender to illness. It was a surrender to truth, to asking questions like, what does enough feel like in my body? Like, to really feel into that. Like, how do I know when enough is enough? And what do I listen to? What do I notice in my body sensations and how my body is trying to speak to me? What if exhaustion really isn't a failure? It's a signal. And what if listening, really listening, is the most radical form of self-love and self-respect? So MS has become a compass for me in a way. It's a guide that continues to remind me you're not here to hustle through your purpose. You're here to embody it, to live it, to walk with it, gently, honestly, and fully. I know that many of you are in your own version of this, in one way or another. Maybe your body is whispering, or maybe it's screaming. Maybe something in your life is saying, it's time. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis or a breakdown to begin listening. This podcast was born from that very invitation to listen, to remember, and to find your own soul compass and begin again from the inside out. Before we close today, I want to leave you with a reflection. Where in your life have you been overriding your body's whisper? And what would it look like to listen today? Maybe take a breath, maybe journal it, or simply carry the question gently with you into your day. If today's story resonated with you, I would be honored if you would share this episode or leave a review so that others can find their way here too. Until next time, keep listening, keep trusting, and keep moving with your soul compass. Find magic in the muck. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for being here with me on Magic in the Muck. If today stirred something in you and you're ready to walk this path more deeply, I invite you to join the Soul Compass Circle, a journey of reflection, connection, and soul-aligned living. You don't have to do this alone. Just visit the link in the show notes to step into the circle. I look forward to meeting you there.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Jennifer Nagel's show Magic in the Muck as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. Stay high vibe and keep sharing your light.